سلام. به طلوع و شبکه جهانی طلوع نیوز خوش آمدید. آلمان سومین کشور است که بیشترین سربازان را در زیر چتر ماموریت ناتو در افغانستان دارد و بیشترین سربازان در شمال افغانستان مستقر هستند. این که آغاز خروج نیروهای آمریکایی از افغانستان چه تأثیری برای روند خروج نیروهای آلمانی از شمال افغانستان خواهد داشت و در مورد مسائل سیاسی نظامی دیگر با آقای گیدو وسترویلا وزیر خارجه آلمان گفتگوی ویژه داریم. Thank you, Mr. Westerwelle, for being with Tolo News. You're here, maybe a pleasant message for your troops in Afghanistan, maybe for heading back to home. From the viewpoint of view, the job is done in Afghanistan?
No, I don't think so. What we prepared in the international community is the process of transition. And we are talking about the transition of the responsibility for the security. And we will start this year, especially in Mazar tomorrow, and then we will continue our work until the year 2014. But this does not mean that we finish our engagement in 2014. I can assure you that the German government and that Germany will not forget our solidarity and our engagement in Afghanistan in the years beyond 2014.
And being from the viewpoint of ground war in the north of Afghanistan, or the whole Afghanistan, from the viewpoint of view it is finished, from the viewpoint of military?
I'm not a military expert, but what I see and what I hear is that we have setbacks, but we also have some progress. And I think that the responsibility for security is in progress because more and more the Afghan institutions for security are in the situation that they can take over the responsibility. We are training policemen, we are training the Afghan army, and our idea of sovereignty is, of course, that Afghanistan is from month to month, from year to year, more and more responsible for their own security.
You think that the Afghan soldier is capable to handling the situation?
I think if we will busy and if we will continue our work, we can reach our goal in 2014. And I support the announcement of President Karzai when he said in his second inauguration speech in fall 2009 that Afghan people want to take over the responsibility for their own country. But once again, this does not mean that Germany or the international community will forget Afghanistan. We will stand with our friends and our partners in Afghanistan, but the kind of our engagement and the fields of our engagement will change. For example, to erect hospitals, or what we see in Mazar, a civil airport, or to support the education system, infrastructure, healthcare. This is our priority, and this is necessary for Afghanistan and the good and prosperous development of the country.
Yeah, if we talk about the progressively in Afghanistan, you said about the hospital, about the infrastructure in Afghanistan. Without a stable situation, it's possible?
I think that we are able to reach a stable or more or less stable situation in the year 2014. And we all know that this does not mean that we will have in 2014 or the years after it a kind of paradise in Afghanistan. We all know that there are so many difficulties. We all know that there is such a lot of work already still to do. And this is what we will, of course, prioritize. For example, we think that the stable situation in a country always depends on the economic situation. And this means that we want to ensure and want to encourage that, for example, investments in the economy of Afghanistan are necessary and also possible. So mutual trade and economic collaboration, investments, this is also a fundament for a good and stable situation in Afghanistan.
So from the viewpoint of view, it is caused that the situation became to, from the viewpoint of progressively, economically in Afghanistan to handling the situation in Afghanistan up to 1 decade?
I think it is necessary, and I do not guess now, but I think it is necessary. I have been in Kabul yesterday, and I met young girls and young boys in a project which is financed by Germany. And they are learning a bit. They have some free time and have a good time there by skating and by painting and of course by learning. And this is our vision. We want to see this young people, these young children, when they are adults, in a sovereign Afghanistan responsible for their own country.
But as you know that Afghanistan is not just Kabul. From the viewpoint of another provinces, as you know, the situation is bad. For example, which kind of progressive did you see in Afghanistan that you are so optimistic about the transition?
I didn't say that I'm optimistic. I just tried to describe the situation in a realistic way. We know that there is a lot of shadow, but there is also some sun. And we shouldn't underestimate the progress. Otherwise, Afghanistan will never stand on its own feet. And this is important for us. And then we shouldn't forget that there is also a responsibility of the region, which means we all know that Afghanistan is more than Kabul. It is even more than Mazar. We know that there are rural areas. We know that there is such a lot of work to do. And we know that we have to involve the region, which means the neighbor countries, including Pakistan. From our point of view, we should convince the neighbors of Afghanistan that a secure and prosperous and stable Afghanistan is also in their own interest.
So if you think that you are not optimistic so about the withdrawal, so what is the realistic situation from the viewpoint of the German government?
What I said is something different to a withdrawal at the moment. What I said is that we agreed on the London Afghanistan conference early last year. And we agreed that we should start the process of transition, the process of integral. And that we think it is not only necessary, it is also possible. Therefore, we doubled our engagement in the last 12 months. For example, Germany doubled the financial support for development assistance. And this is a lot of money which our German taxpayers invest in Afghanistan. And we do so because we want to stand with our friends and our partners. We do so because we are convinced that Afghanistan has the chance to become a stable, democratic and tolerant country, of course with the own culture, but also in sovereignty.
How many German troops will leave Afghanistan?
I do not make any announcements at the moment because we want to see this step by step. We agreed in parameters, and I do not announce a number of troops for next month or next year. At the moment, Germany is present with around about 5,000 troops in Afghanistan, but please never forget that this is only one coin or one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that we are very active in civil assistance, development assistance, and I think the next chapter what we should open is a cooperation on the economic field. This is decisive, this is crucial. If we want to see a good and positive development of Afghanistan, we need a sustainable development of the Afghan economy, and this is what we work for. And this is for the reason why we support the erection of a civil airport here in Mazar, because infrastructure is decisive if you want to have investments.
Yeah. You said the drawdown of the German forces is the depends on the ground. So from the viewpoint of view, when the Barack Obama announced about the drawdown, so the European countries welcome it. You think that the European countries depends on American decision, not for Afghanistan?
No, I think what President Obama announced is exactly the follow-up and the consequence of our international agreement, which we had in the London Afghanistan conference and last summer on the Afghanistan conference in Kabul. So, of course, it is clear the international community is with troops now since 10 years in Afghanistan. And I have to clarify, there's no will and no hidden agenda in the Western world that we want to occupy this country. We want to support you for a free and independent and sovereign development. This is our goal. This is what we work for.
The another point is about the Bonn Conference. What is your expect from the second Bonn?
We are glad, and of course we are also proud to be the host of the next Afghanistan conference at the end of this year, 5th of December in Germany. But it is an Afghan-led conference. We will help as a host, but it is necessary that there is a clear Afghan leadership. And we have 3 topics on the agenda. The first one is transition and the progress in transition. The second, of course, is reconciliation and reintegration. The political process is crucial for every solution, peaceful solution for Afghanistan. And the third is that we want to specify and to underline again that our engagement, the engagement of the international community, will not finish in the year 2014. I cannot underline it clear enough. This is our message, and this is my message to the people in Afghanistan. We want to support transition, but we will not forget Afghanistan in the years after 2014. We are bounded, and this is exactly what we will continue.
When we talk to the second Bonn Conference, what should be expected from the viewpoint of political? As you know that I have an interview with Mr. Steiner, special representative to Afghanistan and Pakistan. He said that main point is political. So what we be eyeing?
Absolutely. This is what I just said. I just named and pointed out the 3 topics on the agenda, and these are all political points. And this is what we think is in the center of our discussion in the next Afghanistan conference in Bonn. So it's a political conference, and this is exactly our goal, what we want to work for. But we all know there are many other steps until the Bonn conference. For example, there is an opportunity to bring some progress into the development on the occasion of the General Assembly in New York, which is in September. In November, probably we will have a discussion with the neighbors in Istanbul. This is probably an interesting concept what Germany together with others started, and what we proposed, the idea of a new Silk Road, the idea of a good and positive economic development, which means we have to include and to integrate all the neighbors into this political and economic process.
If we talk about Taliban, do you expect the Taliban be a part of second Bonn conference?
I see that there is some progress, but it is not on me now to announce the participants of the Bonn conference. I can only repeat what I just said, that we will be the host, but of course it is an Afghan-led conference.
But when we talk from the viewpoint of expect, what do you expect? Taliban be a part of second Bonn conference or not?
I support the political process, and I think it is necessary that Afghanistan, for example, solves their own problems. We have minimum 2 problems on the agenda at the moment. The one problem is the discussion about the Kabul bank. The second one is that we need an agreement between the parliament and the government. And then, of course, then there's a question about how is our strategic relation in the years after 2014. All these points have to be discussed and have to be answered, and then we will have a successful Afghan conference in Bonn.
So you are optimistic for being Taliban part of Second Bonn Conference?
You are asking the same question for the third time, and unfortunately I understand that you are not satisfied with my answer as a critical journalist, which is clear and understandable so, because you have a different position. But my position is not to give some announcements here. My position is to explain how the situation at the moment is, and I do not make any announcements at the moment. Once again, I'm not pessimistic, I'm not optimistic, I'm just very realistic, pragmatic.
Yeah. If the Taliban being a power sharing with the Afghan government, so what will be the West countries' idea about it, especially Germany?
We agreed in the London conference to a political process, and this means that we think it is necessary to have a dialogue. We think it is necessary that the process of reintegration and reconciliation works, and therefore we started programs, and we will continue to do so.
Do you think, from the viewpoint of the German government, is the situation, political situation with reconciliation with the Taliban, is a solution in Afghanistan?
Reconciliation and reintegration is the key question. Because if you want to have peace in a country, it is necessary that you have a dialogue.
So you think speak with Mullah Muhammad Umar Mujahid is the solution?
I can only answer once again what I just said before. This political process is in the responsibility of the Afghan politicians and of the Afghan society. Once again, we are there to support, but we will not take over the responsibility for the political process.
For the last question, do you think that the war in Afghanistan has become unpopular in the West, and especially it has become failed in Afghanistan?
I think military interventions and military fights are never popular in no country. But we know it is necessary, and we know that 2/3 of the Afghan people welcome the international engagement, because our priority is that we create security for a peaceful and for a prosperous development of the country. I do not want to concentrate our engagement in Afghanistan only on military aspects. Military engagement is necessary to produce secure and safe circumstances. But the idea of our engagement is to help the country, to support the people, that these young boys and these young girls I met yesterday, that they have a positive and a good future in their own country. This is our idea. And Germany is well known that we do not have any hidden agenda. We do not want to increase our national influence. Our idea is solidarity and support for positive and democratic development.
What is the guarantee that the Taliban once again do not come to Afghanistan, to the government, from the viewpoint of view after 2014?
This is exactly what we work for, that transition works, and that we all know the time after 2014 will be in a positive and in a prosperous and in a peaceful and secure way. This is possible, we work for it, and so I can only repeat what I just said. 2014 is an important year, but it does not mean that the international community will forget Afghanistan in the years after 2014. We will still be there.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, for being with Polo News.